Have you ever had someone say just a few words that completely shifted your day? It might have even been something that was just in passing for them, but to you, it meant the world. And though it didn't fix everything in that single moment, it did remind you that you were seen, that you matter, and that someone believes in you. Well, that's the power of encouragement. And today we're going to talk about how we can do that for others and how we can be the kind of leader who lifts people up when they need it the most. Well, welcome to another episode of the Reese Cagle Leadership Podcast. If you're new here, I am so glad that you're tuning in today. And I want you to know this is where we have real conversations that help you lead yourself, lead others, and make a bigger impact right where you are. Now, my aim in this podcast is for you to be able to listen to this on your commute to or from work. So I try very hard to make every episode practical, clear, and concise. But today's episode is one that I think we all need, because what I've found is encouragement isn't just a feel-good gesture, it's a leadership skill. A skill that can transform our teams, unlock others' potential, and create a culture where people feel not only seen, but valued and motivated to bring their best. But here's the question that I want us to look at. What does it actually mean to encourage someone? What is it that makes encouragement meaningful, that builds people up? Why wouldn't we just consider what we're doing a passing pep talk? Well, I believe that's because encouragement is more than just praise. It's about intentionally lifting others up and seeing their potential as well as calling it out. And doing it in that way is what's going to fuel their confidence and their growth. And since you're a leader, I can guarantee that there's somebody in your organization who's looking to you to encourage them. So today I want to give you 3 simple and practical ways you can do just that. Okay, let's look at the first way we can encourage those around us, and that is to recognize effort, not just results. I've seen it time and time again where too often we wait till somebody hits a major milestone before we say something. But encouragement is most powerful on the journey, not just at the finish line. This on-the-journey principle actually came to me during my first marathon. Here's why. The cheering at the finish line, it was great. It was rewarding. But it was the cheering from the spectators along the course that was vital. To be honest, without it, I probably never would have made it across the finish line. It was the signs, the high fives, the water station vibes that I needed along the way. And our team needs those too. So here's what I want you to think about. What would it look like if we started noticing the small steps? What if you started calling out the effort you see them giving? Let me give you an example. Now, I know this is going to sound cheesy, but I used to carry around a bag of mini 100-gram candy bars. You know, the ones that had chocolate and caramel in them? Yeah, anytime somebody would show progress towards their goal or took initiative in their effort working towards it, I would give them one. And I'd say, I know it's not cash, but it is chocolate. Here's $100,000. I know, I said it was cheesy. But here's the thing, cheesy is memorable. And more important, it showed those on my team that what they were doing mattered. And this echoes a principle that I learned many years ago. An action that gets rewarded is often repeated. And when somebody hears, I see how hard you're working, it fuels their motivation. It keeps them going. So don't just celebrate the win, celebrate the work. Okay, now the second way we can encourage someone is to be specific and genuine. We can often find ourselves with very general statements like, hey, great job, which, don't get me wrong, that's nice, but it doesn't stick. If we want our encouragement to really land, we got to be specific. Here's what specific would sound like. I really appreciate the way that you handled that tough conversation. I love how you stayed calm, how you listened well, and how you represented our values as an organization. That kind of encouragement, that lands because it comes from the heart. And it shows that us, as their leaders, are paying attention. So, as a leader, we need to make a point, not just to say something nice, but to say something that's clear. something that's personal and something that's real. Now, our third and final way to encourage someone is to encourage in private and in public. Some of the most powerful encouragements in my experience have happened in those one-on-one quiet moments, the behind-the-scenes moments. But then there are other times that public encouragement is what's needed because it's going to help elevate somebody's confidence. When you celebrate someone in front of others, whether that's in a meeting, a group text, a team huddle, it not only affirms their growth as a leader, but it's going to help shape your overall culture. But the key here is you got to know when to do each of these. What I've seen to be true in my years leading is that private encouragement builds trust. Public encouragement builds culture. As leaders, we should learn to use both. And here's what I want you to remember. Encouragement is an intentional act of seeing the best in others and then calling it out in a way that helps them believe in themselves. Now, to help you think about how you can put this into practice, I want to give you a reflection question. Here it is. Who in your life could use some genuine encouragement right now? Once you think about a few people, I want you to think about what specific effort, strength, or value that you noticed in them that you could take a moment to call out. Remember, be specific. And then once you have that, you're ready to take action. So here's your challenge. I want you to intentionally encourage 3 people this week. One-on-one, in front of a group, through a handwritten note. However you want to do it, you choose. Just be specific and be intentional because that's what makes it meaningful. Then I want you to notice, once you do that, what happens. Because I have found that encouragement doesn't just lift them up, it also lifts me up too. Because it changes the atmosphere. It builds the momentum in the organization all around us. And then remember, at the end of the day, encouragement isn't just a leadership tip, it's a leadership tool. So let's use it. I believe you can do it, and I believe others are going to be changed through it. Well, if you found value in this episode, I would be so thankful. If you would like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with somebody else who you think could find value in it as well. Well, that's all we have time for today on encouragement. I'll see you in the next episode.